Today we're in the middle of this new fourth industrial revolution. And what do countries need to, stay at the front line?
If Armenia is going to have a thriving economy, if it's going to be prosperous so that it can be strong, safe, and secure, it must develop its high-tech sector.
And the basic infrastructure is the AI factory that is being built in Armenia.
What changed with the invention of modern AI is that now we are capable of making algorithms that humans can't imagine. But even in its first phase, it will be a very powerful computer. It's going to have 5,000 or more of our latest generation Blackwell GPUs, which are extremely powerful. The primary use of it to start for the demand will be demand that comes from outside Armenia. This is an opportunity for Armenia to jump in on something new that almost nobody knows how to do. But if we choose a few very important areas of research, we can become world-class at those things.
So when is this supercomputer project expected to be ready?
The aim is to have it physically all built and ready by the end of the year.
This year?
And operational, yes, by the end of this year.
That's really soon.
Yes, it is. But it's not only possible, it is probable.
Each industrial revolution was born from a new technology. Steam engines, electricity, and computers have changed the course of our history at least 3 times. And now the fourth industrial revolution is going on, and it's powered by the AI. Can the AI factory that is being built in Armenia help the country to catch this wave? This is what we're going to discuss with REV Lebaredian from NVIDIA. And Team Telecom Armenia is the partner of our interviews about science and technologies. Today we're in the middle of this new fourth industrial revolution. And what do countries need to, stay at the front line? And do countries even need to do that? Like, what advantages will they gain?
There's 2 answers to this question. First, as far as do countries need to build AI infrastructure, if you believe that artificial intelligence is the most profound and impactful technology of our time, probably the most profound technology of all human history, it's hard to imagine that every country won't need this. Of course, if it's a powerful technology that can be used for every industry and every sector, every country is going to need this. It's very much like in the second industrial revolution, when the generation of electricity was invented. Not everybody had it, only a few countries had it at first, but eventually every country needed to have this. It became a fundamental part of our industry, of our society, of the fabric of what makes everything. So every country is going to have that. But the other answer to this for Armenia specifically is that unlike many other countries, Armenia doesn't have much natural resources. Our only export is what our human brains produce. It's the ideas that come from our humans. And the most valuable thing we can produce is technology. Modern technology is all driven by computing, and modern computing is all AI computing. So if Armenia is going to have a thriving economy, if it's going to be prosperous so that it can be strong, safe, and secure, it must develop its high-tech sector. And in order to do that, you need to have the basic infrastructure to do this kind of computer science and be on the frontier of this computer science.
And the basic infrastructure is the AI factory that is being built in Armenia?
That's right. So what has changed, and I think is likely very confusing to most people. They don't quite understand this yet, but it changed a decade ago. Is that the frontier of computer science, of writing software, shifted from how it had been since the beginning to a very new way of doing that, with the invention of deep learning neural networks, this modern form of AI. In the past, you could have the most advanced algorithms, the most advanced computer science and basic research being done with nothing except for a very smart human who could just come up with the idea and a small computer like a laptop. They could just take their ideas, type up a program, and output something that's worth billions of dollars as a software. What changed with the invention of modern AI is that now we are capable of making algorithms that humans can't imagine. We can't actually understand how an algorithm like this would work. The AIs that we're using today that can understand what's inside an image, that can generate poetry, we don't know how to create those algorithms directly. Instead, what we do is we take a supercomputer and we show it millions and millions of examples of what we would like it to do. And it writes the software for us. So the basic instrument for this kind of computer science and being on the frontier is that supercomputer. The bigger that computer is, the more powerful that computer is, the more you can do. So there is no modern software without having an AI factory. And even once you've produced it, you've produced the software that you want to run, in order to use this software, you need an AI factory to run it. So the more compute you have available, the more AI compute you have available, the more you can use this AI to enhance all of the applications. You can apply it to every part of your economy and all the different industries in every sector.
So the AI factory that is being built in Armenia, what will it be able to do and what will it be used for?
First off, the AI factory we're building will not just stop at what we built in the first phase. There will be many phases. But even in its first phase, it will be a very powerful computer. It's going to have 5,000 or more of our latest generation Blackwell GPUs, which are extremely powerful and can be used for a great many number of applications. Applications like ChatGPT and all of the AIs everybody is using today. The primary use of it to start for the demand will be demand that comes from outside Armenia. We can sell capacity of the supercomputer to others, like the AI companies who are building and operating these chat-based LLMs and other forms of AI agents that are being integrated into enterprises and for consumers, which is a great thing. That means that the market is very large, it's global, and we can sell as much demand as we like. We could then also, and then we will take a portion of the capacity of the supercomputer and dedicate it to higher education, to our universities, and to our startups, and to Armenian AI companies and projects, so that they can have an advantage in getting their ideas and their companies off the ground.
Who is going to operate this supercomputer? Do we have the professionals needed?
The supercomputer will be built and operated by Firebird AI, which is an American company formed by Armenians who are building it here in Armenia with Armenian engineers and operators that will be building and operating it here locally. The truth is that the talent needed to do this sort of thing is scarcely available everywhere in the world because this is so new. So this is an opportunity for Armenia to jump in on something new that almost nobody knows how to do And we can learn how to do it by building it, by operating it, and build skills locally in building and operating factories that we could then export to other countries. We can help other countries build AI factories because, like how electricity generation and distribution spread from the small number of countries that had it in the last revolution to every country, the same is happening with AI infrastructure. And Armenia can participate in this new multi-trillion-dollar industry of AI factories.
What do we need today to have the professionals to do this tomorrow? Like, how do we need to change, upgrade the education system, for example?
That's a great question. There are many, many skills that are necessary for this industry. What's actually exciting to me is that a lot of the skills that are needed are ones that for the last few decades, the tech industry and economy as a whole has kind of ignored. We need a lot of people with trade skills, electricians, plumbers, because these AI factories are liquid cooled, but this isn't normal kinds of electricity, electrical engineering, and plumbing. It's a very advanced, high-tech, high-efficiency form of building electrical systems and cooling and such. So we need to take our plumbers and electricians and create more of them. But these are very, very high-paying jobs and high skills that are going to be in demand everywhere in the world. So first we need to skill that, which is a great thing. There's already some knowledge of that here, and we can up-level that. As on the other end of this, in the computing and the software side of this, the software layers of the stack, we need to ensure that our higher education, our universities like Polytechnic, Yerevan State University, American University of Armenia, we elevate the level of computer science that's done there and bring some focus to some areas of AI, because Armenia is not a very large country in terms of population. We only have 3 million people here. We can't do research in everything and do it all well. But if we choose a few very important areas of research, we can become world-class at those things with the smaller number of people we have. And once we do that, we can start seeding an ecosystem to go from basic research in higher education to startups and to other larger companies that are building presence here in Armenia. Companies like NVIDIA.
So when is this supercomputer project expected to be ready?
We are racing to have it built as soon as possible. The aim is to have it physically all built and ready by the end of the year.
This year?
And operational, yes, by the end of this year. That's what we're racing towards. We're going to be talking more about that in a few hours at Digitech in a panel for Firebird AI. 2 of the founders are going to be there. I believe the third one, Razmik Hovagimian, is not in town, unfortunately. But Alex Yesayan will be talking more about the details of when this is going to be ready. But we're aiming to have it operational, being used in the first quarter of next year. That's
really soon.
Yes, it is. But it's not only possible, it is probable. As long as everybody does their part and works hard with the belief that it is possible to do, there's no reason it can't be done. And we've already made great progress. The site is under construction, and the work that NVIDIA does to build the core components of these AI factories, the supercomputers themselves, we do a lot of the integration and the testing of the large computing components of this in the factory before they come here. We also build many layers of the software necessary to operate the AI factory, and it all works because it's one reference design that we can just bring over and use. So you don't have to do a lot of work to customize it once it's here.
Can we also discuss the technical specs of this supercomputer?
What would you like to know?
Like, what is it capable of and how is it built?
The aim is to use, in the first phase, to build it up to 100 megawatts of capacity. These factories are measured in terms of how much power they consume. That's the biggest limiting factor. 100 megawatts is a very sizable supercomputer. The numbers you're starting to see for the very big ones, these are the ones OpenAI and XAI, Elon Musk's company are building, are gigawatts. That's thousands of watts. This will be 0.1 gigawatts, which is smaller, but it's fairly large and one of the larger ones for most of the AI factories that exist today. With this, you'll be able to power any modern AI application, and you'll be able to train almost any sort of AI model you would like.
That sounds really promising.
It is very promising. What's even more promising is it won't end there. We don't have to stop at 100 megawatts. There's actually more potential energy capacity available in Armenia. The problem with power capacity and power generation is that demand fluctuates throughout the day and throughout the year. And so power within the energy industry, they always have to optimize for some average amount of usage. If you produce more power than is needed at any given time, it's wasted. It's wasted fuel and wasted energy. Electricity is very difficult to store and to transport. You need batteries or some way of storing this energy without losing much of the energy. And it's hard to transport long distances without losing it as well. As a result, even though Armenia has the capability of producing a lot more energy, we end up slowing our energy production to less than what we can do because there's no use for the excess energy. But if we create this AI factory, we can ramp up the energy generation, the power generation from our nuclear, from hydroelectric. We can build more solar. And there's no reason we can't get into the multi-gigawatt territory over the many years to come.
Powering up such a data center really consumes a lot of energy. And can this cause any problems for those who live in Armenia, for the ordinary people? Like, can the prices rise?
Well, as I said earlier, we actually, even with the energy infrastructure we have today, are not producing the maximum amount we can. It's because it fluctuates. We run our nuclear power plant at lower energy production capacity than it's capable of. But if there is a larger amount of demand that is consistent, we can ramp up that availability. We can ramp up the production, and that should benefit everyone because we could have more energy produced more consistently for more time.
And it will not affect the prices?
Prices are always about supply and demand. And so if you can increase the supply, the prices go down. The problem with increasing supply when demand is fluctuating is that it's very hard to justify the capital expenditure to always be running at max supply. But if you can ensure that there's enough greater demand, then you can ensure you can invest in having more consistent greater supply, which would bring prices down.
Is Armenia really capable of producing this much energy? I mean, it's one thing when we say that the country can theoretically do this, and it's another thing to have all the systems ready for production of this amount of energy.
For 100 megawatts, which is what we're aiming for in the initial phase or two, we believe there's more than enough capacity available given the current energy configuration of the country. But once we want to go past that, we're going to have to build more infrastructure. But that's all doable. This not unique to Armenia either. These are the same challenges that exist in every country, everywhere in the world, even in the United States. So we are in a new era, in a fourth industrial revolution. There's no industrial revolution without revolutionizing your energy production. Energy is always the core. Humans, in order to produce things, to do it more efficiently, will always need more energy. So we're always going to be limited by how much energy you produce. Everybody should be trying to produce as much as possible. That will grow our economy. It'll grow GDP if you can produce more energy. Part of producing more energy is making the capital investments in the energy infrastructure. And in order to do that, you need security that there will be consistent demand for a long period of time to put in all of the investment in doing that. So by creating this large amount of consistent demand, we seed the investments in producing more energy.
So when this AI factory is up and running, how will it affect Armenia's economy? How exactly will it affect it?
There's going to be multiple ways in which it benefits the economy. First and foremost, just by it being a business that exists here, that's operating, employing a certain number of employees. There will be tax revenues that you gain from payroll taxes and from operating inside the company. So that'll increase revenues for the country and the government, which is a good thing in and of itself. By taking a portion of the AI factory, that capacity, and making it available to our educational institutions for research, for our startups, and for our companies and enterprises that are trying to integrate AI into their businesses and into the government itself. That will also add to the economy. And by virtue of the fact that we have such a thing here, we will start attracting attention from other countries and other companies that are global to Armenia as a place that is serious about doing high technology, doing frontier computer science and computer engineering, by showing that we believe in the future so much that we are willing to invest ourselves in the basic infrastructure for this. We're sending a signal to the world that we're serious about being a place to do the cutting-edge computer science that is necessary for the progress in the world as a whole. And so that will attract investment and give more confidence in global companies, and particularly in the technology sector, to come invest here.
What other players other than NVIDIA and Firebird are involved in this project?
The most important other player is the Armenian government. They play many roles in this. First, they have to allow for us to build it here, help us secure the power, land, and shell, all of the elements necessary to build an actual factory. Those are like any other infrastructure investment in a country. The government has to be involved in that. They help us by working with the U.S. government to give us the rights to export from the U.S. the supercomputing technologies into Armenia. And finally, the Armenian government will secure some of the capacity on the AI factory to give to our universities and to give to our Armenian companies.
Does any of the countries in the region have a supercomputer like this?
It depends on how big you define our region. In the South Caucasus, no, nobody else has one. This will be the first, and particularly of this size. But if you start expanding out into the Middle East and elsewhere, they have some, and they're building more, of course, in the Middle East as well. But this is still a sizable one, even in that region and in Europe as well.
Even in Europe.
Even in Europe.
Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you.